Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. It's a late night at recording here. This is my viewer question for October 30th. We got a bunch of great questions this week. Going to look at some questions regarding Aphra, some modding, fleets, pilots, speeds, Ewoks beating GLs, and much more. I know, I'm the gerbil, right? Got to throw in an Ewok one there. Can't have a video without some Ewok talk. All right, so here we go. We're going to jump right into it. First question tonight comes to us from Autumn. She says, would I say it's a good idea to farm Aphra while finishing up her Exector farm? She only has 2 ships left. Thanks for my time. Sincerely, Aphra is to me underwhelming. Aphra is a great character for sure. But the problem that I see with the Aphra farm is that Aphra is beatable by a lot of commonly accessible teams like General Grievous, CLS, the Sith Triumvirate. Now I'm in the Kyber 2 range, so keep in mind that my answer on this, as well as the answers to everything that follows, is kind of my perception from past experiences up to Kyber 2. And of course, everybody's roster is a little different and situations vary, of course. But for the amount of Kairos that go involved in the Aphra farm, the lack of an Aphra event, an assault battle, the difficulty level of the event itself to unlock, and I just feel like there's not a lot of utility for Dr. Aphra in the game, that I would recommend putting resources somewhere else. You say you're finishing up the Executor. I don't know where you are towards the Marquise for GL Leia or Profundity, but I think I would go look that way. But if you're really wanting to shore up squads, think about for the Kairos and the gear that you can invest in the Aphra squad. Maybe the Sith Triumvirate, if you don't have them up to par, would be a better one. Or look at your roster and see how many squads you have that have like 3 or 4 relic characters, but other people are still gear 12. And I would say maybe finish up some of those farms first. I just don't see a huge place for Aphra right now, sadly. I mean, I'm farming the droids right now also, but I have no desire to, and I just don't feel a need for them. Oh well, sorry. Moving on. Hope that's not unhappy news. Hey, Gerbil, I'm approaching 4 million GP for Proving Grounds, and I bought the Lightspeed bundles. Congratulations, yo. You're close to getting GL Ray. Yep, because you bought them bundles. Once I've taken her to Relics, she will be able to beat all the Proving Grounds? I have never played a Proving Ground match because I've completed all the conquests at Red Crate, and I always manage to get the conquest characters. So I am not a good source on this one. I recommend jumping over to Nooch2 Good's channels. He's done a bunch of videos about conquest and just posted this one, like, I don't know, maybe it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, looking at a bunch of different conquest characters. It might be a little bit older, apologies, and teams that can beat it most effectively or efficiently. And Nooch is looking at like non-galactic legends here, but I think he also does talk about GLs in there too. I could be wrong, but sincerely, sadly, I'm just not a good resource for Proving Grounds. I mean, I can't even play it. CG won't even let me play it. If you have the character at 7 stars, they won't let you play it, which is really unfortunate because like us content creators are just locked out. Maybe eventually on my alt, but that's going to be a while. Hey, such a helpful resource. Must take ages to put together. Thanks so much. Yes, it does sometimes. Tonight's animations and graphics are a little simple though. Although I got to admit, I love this character. Totally looks like me, right? Student took this picture of me and then ran it through like an AI filter, and they said that's what the AI said I look like. I wish. That's so cool. Anyway, hey, do Ewoks have a chance to beat 1 or more GLs? Yes, they do. A Smaller God is a member over on my Discord, recently posted a link to 8 or 9 videos. They're not on YouTube. I don't know the backstory there, but in his videos, he's beating 3 or 4 videos beating Slicker, a couple beating Rey, 1 or more beating Lord Vader. And the video I'm looping right here is my own decimation of Jedi Master Luke. Watch this AoE. Look at Yoda, delete. Nisa's AoE just hit Yoda, Grandmaster Yoda, for 148,000 damage. And look at the damage ramping on her attack out of turn assists. This is just insane. Nisa, properly modded Ewoks with the Nisacron, is just devastating, and you can actually beat probably 4 different GLs right now: Slicker, Rey, GML, and Lord Vader. But caveat, you must mod them properly. You must learn their kits. You must learn the turn orders. You must learn how to play them. They are not a linear team. Anyway, yeah, they can beat GLs. C3PO included. I do not recommend C3PO in there. I think it just cripples your CLS team way too much. But there are people that do, you know, absolutely. Nisa and C3PO have some interesting synergies, but C3PO gets nothing back from Nisa because Nisa's kit just perpetually calls out Ewok ally, Ewok ally, Ewok ally. So whereas like Ewok Elder can heal, even revive C3PO, Nisa like doesn't do anything for him, sadly. But yeah, they beat GLs. They sure do. Crab says that he missed the VIP chat recent video reference, but he's looking at putting together this Rey team and wonders between IG-11 and Barriss. I personally really recommend Barriss, but Barriss is I think gear requirements are a little bit stiffer than most people's. The reason I like Barriss is because the unique on Barriss says that at the end of each of her turns, she dispels the weakest debuffed ally, cleanses them up, then gains 10% turn meter for each buff removed, and then whenever any ally is critically hit, any ally, that ally recovers 20% health, and Barriss gains another 10% turn meter, which means she takes a lot of turns. Barriss is just nasty in healing and like providing longevity to any team. It's just crazy how good she is actually as a passive character in the background. Now, with that said, IG-11 is a lot easier to gear up, I believe, and I think in certain situations, IG-11 is a better character. There's a lot of really interesting things you can do with IG-11, but Barriss ultimately though is more flexible. She's way more plug and play. But again, back over in the Discord, oh, I've lost it. Here it is. Oh, I put that in the wrong order. Over in the Discord, there was some really interesting discussion between a few people giving some tips and suggestions. So if you haven't read those, go check it out, because like the lineup you have there with L3 and IG and Sortie is great, but I do agree with some others who say like take out LG and put in Quill. Quill and IG just kind of have to be together, which is another reason I do like Barriss, because she is a solo plug and playable character. Yeah, so anyway, check out the discussion. It's a great one, and it's a really interesting idea. I also realized just today in 3v3 that Lobot is required for GLA, and Lobot with Chewpio and C3PO is actually a really interesting little trio, because Chewpio shares the buffs or the stats from Lobot because he's a rebel leader, but all your allies are droids, so Lobot is able to give some speed, potency to Chewpio and C3PO, and he heals them. I was like, wow, that's an interesting team. I'm not sure if it's any good, but I thought it was kind of fun. Hey, a new question here from Ordo. Anditesh. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You got 3 of them, in fact, bro. So you're curious about a character possibly coming to the game here. And I don't know this one. Kriya reminds me of Traya, especially from that graphic with 3 sabers circling around her. I don't think that's happening anytime soon. It's a character from Knights of the Old Republic 2, and I don't think that we're going in that direction despite the Leviathan coming and there being a bit of a love for Old Republic. I think we're already done with that era, and we are moving back into a Clone Wars period. It could be also Mando. Obviously, we got the new Bo-Katan epic confrontation, but I think that that's kind of a one-off, and that brings us into the next question here. In a recent video, I talked about having gas being the fleet leader for the next capital ship being the Resolute. I still think that's happening, and I think that one of the Bo-Katan requirements, Caloran Beck coming to the game, is also a little bit of a hint in that direction. Because, see, Caloran is another prominent Jedi, and he was as well a pilot. We actually see him flying a ship rescuing Grogu. Now, that's notable because I think the Resolute is going to be a Jedi fleet. I think that the Marauder came out to bolster Endurance or Negotiator, either way you want to go with it, but primarily Endurance, to make a more of a clone synergized fleet so that we can have more of a Jedi fleet down the road. And I think that that's going to be the Resolute. And I would not be surprised if we see Caloran Beck get a ship very soon, as well as Grandmaster Yoda, and then some other Jedi Council members that we currently already have in the game that have no place, like Eth Koth and Ima Gundy and yeah, whatever. So interesting. What's my next raid prediction? I don't have one. What would I like to see? I would love to see, and we're not going to get it, we got a speeder bike raid, but I would love to see a like a Scarif raid where you are trying to download the Death Star plans, or similarity, Empire or Return of the Jedi raid where they blow up the bunker doors to shut down the shield projector for the Death Star, but we got speeder bikes instead. So we'll see. But yeah, those would be my two. I really try to think of what would be a great raid from the prequels, and nothing comes to mind. I do think the credit heist type raid from Andor would be a lot of fun, where they steal, I think that was Andor. Yeah, Andor, where they steal all the credits. That would be cool. I think that would be a lot of fun. Not sure who we could use besides Andor and people. Oh yeah, just looked at that. I like this one. Hey, Gerbil, how's my day going? Well, okay, so I woke up bright and early, like 6 o'clock. And I was feeling pretty good, actually. Had a great dream. Then reality kind of set in, and it's a Monday, start of the week at school. There's a lot of stress right now at work, and a lot of my colleagues are really feeling that it's that time of the year, it's like, everybody kind of wants a break. But that's okay. Day's getting better. And now, as I'm recording, I'm projecting as we go into the night that things are going to get better. How was that answer, huh? Yeah, who answers a question like, how's it going, like that? Yeah. Hey, what Chimera fleet can be built without conquest ships? This one is one I struggle with myself. So, Chimera Empire have really, I think kind of without conquest characters, it's a fleet that kind of struggles to really find its place in the Kyber ranges where I am. I think even early game, it's really just not a great fleet, and it's a challenge because, like, if you go strictly Empire, the TIE Bomber takes forever to farm. It's a hard node, as is the Emperor Shuttle, as is the TIE Defender. I believe they're all hard nodes, and then the Vader ship you get free eventually. The TIE Fighter is super easy to get, and then without Scythe, the Gauntlet and the Reaper are just worthless. At least that's my opinion. Somebody's going to tell me how I'm wrong about that, but I find them to be utterly worthless. And I think early game, if you throw in Houndstooth, and yeah, I know you got to go farm Houndstooth, or maybe you just bought it in one of the recent Lightspeed bundles, but I think that the easiest, best non-conquest fleet is probably Houndstooth, Vader, TIE Fighter. TIE Fighter is going to hide behind Houndstooth, but it's still going to get Foresight. There's still enough AoEs being thrown around in the game that you're hopefully going to dodge a hit here or there, get some turn meter pumped into Chimera to hopefully, one-shot execute somebody early. The TIE Defender is a harder farm, but sincerely, it's worth it. When you have that reinforced as your first reinforcement, it just basically starts deleting enemies in one shot, especially when you get offense up with it or something. It's just like delete. It's great. Now, Conquest down the road, you definitely want to get Scythe and then Second Sisters TIE Interceptor. The thing about the Chimera fleet is who you put as your third. I mean, generally you want Gauntlet and Scythe, but who you put with a third, whether it's the TIE Fighter, TIE Bomber, or Emperor Shuttle, or even Vader, it really kind of depends on the enemy fleet you're going at and the starting lineup of that enemy fleet. So that's a complicated one. Check out SWGOH.GG fleet GAC guide for that one. All right, moving on. Hey, I mentioned in my last video that a 4-star Executor can consistently beat a 7-star one. So I might have said that, and I need to back that up a little bit if I did say that. A 4-star can consistently and easily defeat a 5 and a 6-star Executor. An interesting thing about Executor fleets is that going second is actually not a bad thing. And in fact, you have some advantages in going second. Why? I don't know. Don't ask me. It just works that way. I remember when I started getting 7-star mirror matches and going first, it got a lot harder, to be honest. Now, my alt account has the Executor at 4-star. This is my fleet right here. And you can see my Beskar Mando is Relic 1. My Cad Bane is still Gear 12. And I'm managing to get up to second place every day. And you can see that the 3rd and 4th place down there's a 6 and 7-star Executor. And I have beat them both. The 6-star I have no problem to. RNG can go totally against you. And I do plan to make a video about this very, very, very soon. If I said consistently, I do apologize about that, because I don't think it's consistent, but you can reasonably beat it. And there are some definite strategies involved. There are some RNG, like if the AI just simply opens up straight up on your Razor Crest and just marks it with the enemy Razor Crest and just decimates it before you get turns, then yeah, you're gonna lose. But if they do like the AoE on Houndstooth and then they mark like Xanadu or something who goes into stealth, or they just don't land the mark. I don't know if the mark bypasses stealth or not, but if they don't land the mark and you land your mark on theirs, you can wipe it out pretty quickly. It can still be a struggle to get to the ultimate before they do. Another kind of RNG factor depends on the reinforcement order. If the enemy brings out their Ebon Hawk like first reinforcement, then you're probably in a lot of trouble. But if they bring out like IG 2000 and you bring out Boba Fett, you should have a much better chance of winning. We'll talk more about that in a future video, but yeah, I'm definitely planning to put something about that together very, very soon. So stay tuned. Hey, Gerbil, should I G7 the other Inquisitors too, or just focus on gearing Radis, Jyn, Vader, Palp higher? You remember we talking about the squad down below. Figured focusing on the most important piece of the team isn't a bad thing. So gear 7, yes. If you're looking at gear, I see your character levels are in the mid 50s there, and the gear feels really, really like a crunch, and I get that that's really hard. But what I would recommend doing is gear them until you hit the Kairos, wherever that is. When you need Kyrotechs, stop gearing them and focus exclusively on one character for your Kyrotechs. With the teams you have down there, I would recommend taking eventually all of Admiral Radis's team up to a minimum of gear 11, preferably gear 12. Radis himself can stay at like 5-6 stars for a long time. Get the Omicron on him, and he does that. Or is it the Omicron? No, the Zetas and I think it's the Omicron. And he doesn't have to be as beefy as everybody else. Really, you can the whole team can kind of like protect him for a while. As far as the Empire team down below, you want to focus your Kairos early on Ninth Sister, because anytime one of the Empire allies get hit with a critical, she will automatically taunt. So you want her with as much health pool, much as defense as possible. So the higher the gears, the better on her. The good thing is Vader and Palp don't need any Kyrotechs until you're trying to put them to gear 13. So focus your Kairos on Ninth Sister. Raise everybody up until you run out of, until they ask for Kairos. Then level up Emperor Palpatine and Vader, get them up to gear 12. Then I would jump over and complete that Rogue One team. And I think that that's very, very reasonable and not too challenging as you go. Hey, next question. This is a copy and paste from a recent video I did asking about like, how do I know which mods to upgrade and like trash, right? Like when taking a mod from up to Mark 5 to 6, it's a 5 to 6 dot mod. So here's the thing, let's start with 5 dot mod. I've marked the 5, the white, green, purple, blue, and gold there. I said that in the wrong order. At my level, if the mods have less speed than this, I generally do not upgrade them. If they have no speed, I sell it, hands down. There's only 2 characters in the game that really benefit or are super viable with no real speed. That's Nest, and I forget the other one. But you, generally speaking, you want speed on everything and everyone. So speed's critical. Secondly, like, how do you know which ones to take up to 6-dot mods. And for me, I pretty much only want to increase a mod that has, in terms of quality, if you go to the filters, you can look at the quality of the roll. A gold mod with at least 3 speeds at 60% quality or higher. What that means basically, I think, is it should be 14 or 15 speed. That is my minimum level to take it up to a 6-dot mod. And then I will generally slice it and then use the reroll mechanic to try to push that speed up over 20. And I have really good track records of that. The quality of the roll is honestly, to me, better than the net roll value. So what I mean by that is, like, if you have 2 rolls and it's an 11 speed, then that means you got a 5 plus a 6. That's great. You have potential for 3 more rolls there. So if you were to roll another 6, another 6, another 6, which ain't gonna happen, but that's 18, then that mod could go up to 29 speed. However, if you have a mod at 12 speed and you've already used 4 rolls, the maximum that 12 speed can become is 18 plus, 12 plus 1 is 18. Now, of course, when you upgrade it to 6-dot, you get 1 more, so whatever. But the quality is more important. So, like, set up your filters. I did this filter video here. You can set your filters so that you can look through for quality mods, and that, I think, is probably the best way to do it. Like, I would set up like a filter for each of these maybe, and then just filter through, upgrade them all, spin the currency as you can, but be careful. This is a major time sink. But mods are probably more important than any other single aspect when you're trying to be competitive. Hey Gerbil, how do I beat the Marauder in the Negotiator fleet with the Leviathan? I've only done it once. I've only encountered it once so far, and it was not easy. Notice I lost Fury, I lost the Sith Fighter, so I'm not actually worried about this. I mean, CG has said there is a bug. They usually fix bugs that mess up their shiny toys like Leviathan when, or Profundity when it first came out. So I expect the Marauder is going to get fixed, not nerfed, fixed. And that fixing is probably going to make it less of a pain for Leviathan. So I wish I had some strategy to say. I don't have any strategy yet. I just smashed the buttons that I thought would work, and it was downright scary. So stay tuned. If I see it again, I'll record it. I don't know why I didn't record this one, and then maybe we can talk about that in a future video. But I think it's gonna get fixed. Yeah, I really do. Hey Gerbil, do I know how the mechanic works with Sith Assassin's relic level determining who goes first in a 7-star mirror match with Leviathan? Yes, I sure do. The mechanic is, if the speeds are the same, it's a roll of the dice, 50-50. But to the bigger question I think you're asking is, like, how is speed determined? I think that's what you're asking. Speed is a function of the gear level on the character, the type of mod, not quality, but the type of mod, and the upgrades of the ship itself. So if your character and your ship are both level 85, you've maxed out your Sith Assassin at Relic 9, and you have all 6-dot gold mods of any tier, A, B, C, D, E, does not matter, just 6-dot gold mods, then the max speed is 183, which is slower than Leviathan's max speed. You cannot get Sith Assassin faster than Leviathan if memory recalls. Leviathan's going to go first, either yours or theirs, no matter what, I do believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. I'm always happy to know if I mess up, and I appreciate you letting me know in the comments so that other people don't get bad advice from me. But yeah, so you need to make sure that you have 6-dot mods on your Sith Assassin, and they can be trash mods. It doesn't matter. They can be no speed, but please don't 6-dot a no speed mod unless you just, I don't know. Don't do that because you never know if you'll need it elsewhere. Yeah, and then I did just recently post this video here. There's a link there in the picture. Sorry, I don't know how to put those cards in my videos yet. Maybe I should take time to do that. But yeah, so it's I put a little mirror match there, and this graphic I just pulled right out of that video. I hope it's a helpful video, but yeah, it's a 50-50 roll of the dice if you have equal speeds. But yeah, I don't know. Good luck. I really feel that, and people have told me I'm wrong in this one, but I really feel that the intention from CG behind the Leviathan fleet was to encourage you to relic up your characters as high as possible to have the speed advantage, because the team that goes first has a good probability of winning. The team that goes first and has their Sith Assassin also go first should be winning 100% of the time. So sadly, I think it comes down to speed a lot. But again, some people are saying, no, it's not speed. But I have yet to see their evidence of that. So I don't know. Moving on. Hey, Darth Scythe. Hey, Gerbil. Do you think it's better to chase more galactic legends or stop and fill out some teams? Well, let's think about that. Fleets is where you get the vast majority of your daily income through Arena. Getting top 5 in Arena is way easier than most people think. You have to, of course, build out a good, solid, meta-busting fleet. Then you probably want to pay attention to whose payouts are when, or better yet, reach out to your opponents in Discord, find out if you have a fleet shard where they share their payout times. Make sure you're in there, talk to them so that they don't bump you, you don't bump them a couple hours before your payouts, and everybody's happy and maximizing your crystal income. That's more important, honestly, than GAC, where the game is statistically designed to ensure you have a 50% win rate, regardless of your level. It's pushing you towards a 50% win rate. That means climbing is hard, and the daily payout and even the rewards at the end of the events is not comparable. It's close if you're in the highest tiers, but it's still below what you get from fleets. Secondly, GLs are of course better than journey characters, which means they're better than individual characters. But I would go ahead also and state that while GLs are fantastic in so many places, they are not the end-all be-all for conquest, territory battle, raids, GAC counters, assault battles, territory wars. There are teams that are absolutely worth finishing before pushing for a GL. For example, General Grievous can walk all over Jedi Master Luke. I think it's been forever since I've done that, but he absolutely destroys Sith Eternal. If you're at a point in the game where you see Sith Eternal in GAC on defense, Grievous would smash that, and it's a lot easier to gear up a Grievous team than get a GL. Or Conquest, like get a bajillion purges or ability block, or I'm trying to think of armor shred, or these are things you can do with Inquisitors, and your guild is going to want the Inquisitors at any stage of the game for territory battles to unlock Riva, or assault battles, right? I mean, I definitely would say, yes, fill out some core teams before you consider GLs. Then I would also make sure you have a dominant fleet, and then I would consider GLs. So even though I'm saying fleets are better than GLs, GLs are better than journey characters, for long-term viability and survivability and gear acquisition, squads are better than GL for advancing for advancing you in the game, and fleets are the number one for daily crystal income. Complicated question, huh? Yep. Only 2 more questions, folks. Let's wrap this up. Roman, oh my goodness, thank you for the dissertation here, bro. I mean that with all the love I can, sincerely. I got to review some of this. Oh, right. So you're struggling with Home 1 against Radis bundles. That tells me 2 things. I did look at your roster, and I see that you are still quite early in the game, so not a lot of Gear 12 pilots and whatnot. And that, honestly, I think is the problem more than anything. That and possibly strategy or the way you're playing the game. I don't think I saw Han's Millennium Falcon yet in your roster, and without the Falcon, the Home 1 fleet really is neutered. You need the Falcon, and it needs to be your first reinforcement. Biston opens up with a target lock, triggering taunt on Biggs, giving foresight to the Raven's Claw. The Raven's Claw then takes a turn either ignoring whoever's taunting, double taps someone, calls an assist, or strips away all the turn meter from an enemy ship that's going to threaten you, like an Anakin or a TIE bomber or something. You just kind of survive and pound away. Then the Falcon comes in and deletes the first target. Everybody gains foresight, which means everyone's ignoring taunt. Then you just delete all the attackers, leaving usually just Houndstooth sitting there all by itself at full health, wondering what happened to its fleet. So you do mention something about like, my line has been moved. that you were going to, oh, there it is, that you're questioning about upgrading endurance. And I would say no. The endurance is by far the worst fleet in the game. Unbelievably bad, actually. It's only useful very, very early, and then it just disappears. The Marauder came out and changes that to a degree, but the Marauder's about to get fixed, and the Marauder requires 3 Bad Batch pilots, and they are Cairo hungry. They want so much Chirotechs, and at your level in the game, you're not going to be getting Chirotechs. Not easily. So I would 100% say stay on target. Stay on target. Do not go over and get distracted by the endurance. Not worth it. Second, you're saying use Home 1 with the Houndstooth, TIE Silencer, and Poe. No. Houndstooth you could arguably use. It's such a good ship. TIE Silencer, I know you bought the Lightspeed bundle, so you got a shiny new like Relic 5 pilot there, and he's great. But none of those ships have any synergy with Home 1. Home 1's success comes from all the assists that it calls, and its allies calling assist, and it giving all of them bonus protection up, meaning that you just don't die. I mean, well, you do, but it keeps you alive for the Falcon and the Raven's Claw to kill everything. And of course, Biston if you gear him up enough. So what I'm trying to say is, I know it's painful right now, and you may be struggling in Arena, but if you stay on target with your Home 1 team, and you focus on a Chimera Bounty Hunter fleet, you will have your offensive GAC fleet with the Home 1, your defensive Chimera Bounty Hunter fleet for GAC, and you will be on a solid pathway to get the Executor, which then will allow you to dominate your arena every day, get #1 crystal payout. Why well, I just said why, right? To get the Executor. Also, that gearing up those bounty hunters should lead you directly into your Hound's Millennium Falcon and unlocking Chewbacca, right? All right, folks, we only got 2 more. I lied before. These are simple, though. This person, who is this? LouisBot 9002, wants Nooch and me to combine our farming guides. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the comparison there. I really, really want to get back and do an updated farming guide. I really, really, really do. It was a great video, super popular. Everyone asks me about it. I know I really, really want to do. And Nooch is a good buddy of mine, so I'll talk to him about it. Maybe we'll see what we can work out. And last but not least, General Arena Slayer says, hey, what do I do with Veteran Han and Veteran Chewie? And the answer is they keep the bench warm. In the Kyber levels, they are just almost worthless. There are some niche places, yes, that they can do something. Please don't roast me, Resistance fans, but there ain't much that they do, really. Like, in fact, I don't even know if they're Resistance. I don't think they got a Resistance tag. I'll have to look on that. But I did some brief research to see if I was wrong on that. And 5 years ago, people said territory war, back row. Somebody's like, exciting. They also said that vets are really good at distracting you from more important farms, which gave me a good chuckle. 4 months ago, they said, yeah, the bench, even with Tarful Mission, they're talking about Rise of the Empire. So they're just sadly not that good. There are some, again, niche places you can use them. I think Veteran Han is quite useful in Conquest when you need a whole bunch of armor shreds, I think it is, because I think he has a armor shred, or maybe it was Stagger, I can't remember. He's really good at acquiring one of those. I think it's Stagger, and it's on his basic if he double taps. But sincerely, it's so rare that I see them. In fact, I don't think I ever see them anymore in GAC, and I don't use them either. So I'm not a great source for this, but it depends where you are in the game. You know, if you are in the 2 to 3 million GP and you bought the Lightspeed bundles and you got them, then actually they're pretty good. They hit pretty hard, and you can probably go knock out a whole bunch of B tier teams with them in GAC, but I would not sincerely invest much gear and time into them. They're just not worth it. Anyway, folks, been 35 minutes. Holy moly. Thank you for your time. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope you got something out of it. I will catch you later on the holotables. All right. Bye-bye.